Well, hey there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and I'm here today to talk about a book that I just recently finished and absolutely loved. I had a different book lined up to talk about today, but because I just finished this one and I can't stop thinking about it, I'm going to talk about this one instead. So I just want to first off by say that this is an author that I really, really like a lot. I've read a good majority of what she's written, and everything about her writing is just phenomenal. And the thing that's really cool and interesting about her is that, sometimes you start to like a writer and you discover that they write a lot of books in the same genre, like could be historical fiction or fantasy or whatever, and they write within that genre. Well, the thing that's really cool about this author is that I feel like every book I've read by her has been completely different than the one before. She's got a historical fiction one, she's got fantasy, she's got horror, she's got a vampire story, she's got a historical, like, romance, so many different facets of her writing that it just absolutely shines through. So I know you're just dying to know who I'm talking about right now. The author is Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and the book is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. So the title might sound a little familiar because it is a play on the original classic story, The Island of Dr. Moreau, and it's very loosely based on that. This does take place in Mexico, and it's on the Yucatan Peninsula, which is very isolated from the rest of Mexico, for a lot of different reasons, and that isolation really plays a big factor into this book. This is definitely one of those stories that I'm going to be thinking about for quite a while after I finished it. And it was super enjoyable. I loved it. It was a lot of fun and interesting, but it was also it also is going to stick with me. It's one of those types of stories, and I would really struggle to try to label the genre of this book because it's kind of a lot of different things. So it's a historical fiction, it's definitely science fiction, it's got a teeny bit of horror, but it's also just like, a piece on the social aspects of this time in Mexico, which is the 1800s. And I really appreciated, she has this author's note in the back that talks about a lot of the real events that this book is historically based around, and basically like the Mayan people and how the conflict they had with the British people that were living there at the time. And it's absolutely phenomenal. So even if you go into this and you don't really have a lot of the knowledge of the history of this time period in Mexico, which I didn't going into it, it doesn't matter because it's explained really well, and there is that author note in the back. So what is the actual story about? So it's about this young woman named Carlotta who lives with her father, Dr. Moreau, who has been creating these hybrid people slash animal creations in his home. So he's creating these, I don't want to call them monsters because that's definitely not what they are. They've been raised with Carlotta. A lot of them she considers to be like as close to her as family, her brothers and sisters, taken from like different animals. That there's a crocodile hybrid and there's jaguar hybrids, all kinds of different animals that live in the area that the doctor has, like, configured their DNA to mesh with humans. So they're like people animal hybrids. But it comes into conflict when the person who is basically paying him to do this, his son, finds out what's going on, and he kind of gets involved in everything in a catastrophic sense. Everything kind of starts to come apart. So there's also a really interesting character who is the basically the overseer of all these operations. So Dr. Moreau is the doctor and the scientist. His daughter is there to help, but then he hires this overseer to make sure the daily operations are going okay. And this character, Montgomery, is super flawed in a lot of different ways that gets into it, and not very likable, but still somehow likable at the same time. It's very hard to explain. But the characters are all really phenomenal. It's a fantastically written book. It's not that long. It's just about 300 pages. I blew through it very quickly. It is such a phenomenal story. Really great. If you're looking for something really different, this is a really good one to pick, because like I said, it doesn't really fall squarely in any one particular genre. It's all over the place, which really is a benefit for this. So if you like any of those genres, historical fiction or a little bit of science fiction, stuff like that, then you're going to find something to enjoy in this book. And like I said, I've read many of her previous books, loved every one of them. The writing is just amazing and great. So if you're looking for a great book that's just absolutely different, that will leave you thinking after the fact, The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. Give it a try. You won't regret it. So that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that this book sounds really awesome and interesting and that you love it as much as I do. Please feel free to come check it out from Farmington Community Library, and also please give this video a like. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.